everyone, I'm Rod Wortham and welcome to this episode of Raceface Driver Updates. This week we had 9 drivers in action that include 4 at Martinsville Speedway, 2 in Alabama, and 1 each in Georgia, Kansas, and Arizona. This week's episode features racing in all 3 of NASCAR's Elite Series, some late model racing, if Mother Nature holds off, legends, and quarter midgets. But before we get to the results, let's take a quick lap around the famed paperclip at Martinsville Speedway in this week's Logitech track lap with Fast Pasta.
Hey everybody, Anthony Alfredo here, and I'm excited to share with you a few laps around Martinsville Speedway ahead of the races this weekend. We're going short track racing once again, and it's another doubleheader for me, pulling double duty by running both the NASCAR Xfinity Series race and the NASCAR Cup Series race. So first, we're going to turn a couple laps in our virtual Logitech G Chevrolet Camaro here on iRacing. Then we'll hop into the Logitech G Next Gen Chevy for a few more laps, just so that you could see the differences between the two cars, because it forces you to approach this track in a few different ways. First, we'll turn a couple laps in the Xfinity car. As I mentioned before, you can already see that there's concrete in the corners here, so that transition can play quite a factor for the drivers, both on corner exit and corner entry, just because there's a difference in grip. But this track is called the paperclip for a reason. Very long straightaways, very sharp corners. This curb doesn't really allow you to get any lower than the guy in front of you if he's wrapping it tight, so very challenging to pass. That's why you see a lot of the classic bump and runs, as they call them in racing. Some people wrap that curb really tight, just like that, and then others diamond the corner a little bit. It kind of depends on the handling of your car. If you diamond it like this, you can carry a little more entry speed, but you got to be able to turn back down. And with the balance I have here on iRacing, this fixed setup doesn't really reward me running that. Maybe a small diamond like this. You see, that was pretty much what I would do in real life. But as the track rubbers up, I usually find it better to just stay right against it, as tight as I could be without touching it, just like that. Super fun racetrack. I love short track racing, and this place is just a classic. So looking forward to all the racing ahead of me. A lot of laps. Definitely want to stay off that curve, as I mentioned before, but it should be fun. We'll go check out what a couple laps around here in the next gen cars like now. You're on the brakes really hard here every lap. There's a lot of grip right next to that curb. Practicing qualifying, you can kind of run wide on entry and exit just to carry a higher minimum speed. That's a little excessive of an arc, but we still kind of got down there. But you're going to want to be lower and straighter into the corner to defend, especially on exit as well, just to make sure you can launch really well out of the corner like this. You see I'm upshifting to 4th gear on the straightaway, then downshifting back to 3rd gear in the corner. We're going to do that on both sides of the racetrack every lap here. It's going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to it, and thankful to Live Fast Motorsports for another opportunity to drive the number 78 Chevrolet Camaro in a NASCAR Cup Series race after our NASCAR Xfinity Series race on Saturday. That's been another Logitech G track lap with Fast Pasta. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.
The week at Martinsville Speedway started off, well, let's just say it was a little soggy. All practice sessions for both the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series were rained out on Friday. That meant that all teams would need to qualify on how they unloaded from the hauler. Let's get right to the results. Sheldon Creed qualified 3rd, but had to start at the rear due to having to make some changes that included replacing the brake cooling system. And you can't take on the paperclip without great brakes. It didn't take long for Sheldon to make his way towards the front, setting P14th at the end of stage 1, but was not able to improve his position, finishing stage 2 in 14th as well. With only 6 laps to go, Sheldon was running in 6th place when other cars decided to go 3 wide, and that doesn't work at Martinsville. Sheldon got spun and ended his day with a disappointing 27th place finish. Sheldon will take on the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway on Saturday, live on FS1 at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Anthony Alfredo was pulling double duty at Martinsville in both the NASCAR Xfinity Series race on Saturday and the NASCAR Cup Series on Sunday. It was not a good weekend for the young 24-year-old Connecticut driver. Let's first hear from Anthony on Saturday's Xfinity race.
Well, in the McDonald's drive-thru on the way home, gonna have to follow up with a dude wipe when we get back, but super rough Xfinity Series race at Martinsville Speedway for us. We didn't get to practice or qualify yesterday to discover and ultimately fix all the issues that plagued us all race long, between some of the setup of mechanical things, no brakes, couldn't slow down, just had to limp it home and somehow finished 24th. Which is way better than we should have been. We started 38th, so big gain, but that was a horrible day for us. We're disappointed. At least Talladega's up next. We know we can go win a super speedway race. We've been in position so many times now. It's bound to come together. Hopefully that's the one. But first, we've got the Cup race tomorrow, and I'm excited about that.
Fast forward to Sunday, where he made his second start of the year for Live Fast Motorsports in the Cup Series.
Well, not exactly what we wanted here at Martinsville Speedway. We had a solid Andy's Frozen Custard Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. Just got a little too far behind at the start. We did get the car better, but track position was huge. Man, I couldn't believe how bad Dirty Air was at a short track like this where the minimum speed is so low. These next-gen cars are tricky in that circumstance. After one of our green flag stops, the right rear wheel fell off, unfortunately, and that took us out of contention just because the hefty penalty. They had to hold us on pit road for 2 laps or whatever it was, and after that, we just wanted to finish strong. But super thankful for Andy's Frozen Custard for supporting us this weekend, Live Fast Motorsports for this opportunity, the rest of our partners, and you, the Sauce Mafia, for being here supporting us. Hopefully I get to run the Cup car a couple more times this year on to Talladega.
Well, as you heard from Anthony, on to Talladega Superspeedway this Saturday. Connor Mosack made his first start in an Xfinity car at Martinsville, and he had a fast car, but unfortunately, the racing gremlins showed up. We caught up with him right after the race.
Well, it was another pretty frustrating day. Had another really fast Toyota GR Supra. It was, we were able to run top 10 lap times, sometimes top 5 lap times. We were working our way forward. We got punted at one point pretty early on and lost a bunch of spots, but we were working our way back to the top 15. I think we got up to 13th or 14th, and caution came out and the motor just died on us on the backstretch. Had to get pushed in, and turns out it was just an electrical issue, but it took us a while to get it fixed. Lost about 45 laps by the time we got back out there, so obviously we were out of contention, but we were able to pass a couple cars that had wrecked after we pulled in, so and able to learn a little bit about things we can try next time. But it was definitely frustrating being that many laps down and being able to run top 5 lap times. So just another fast car, another day of bad luck. So unfortunately you don't get to have another shot at it till Charlotte, so we'll have a few weeks off here from Xfinity Racing, but we'll be back at Kansas for the ARCA race, so I'm looking forward to that and hopefully be able to get a win there.
Up next for Connor, shifting gears to the ARCA Racing Series at Kansas Motor Speedway on May 6th with Joe Gibbs Racing. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll go to Martinsville to check in on Caden Honeycutt and find out if Mother Nature held off in Alabama. We'll be right back with more Raceface driver updates.
Introducing Raceface Digital Collectible Cards. Buy, sell, and collect MP4 digital cards, representing the next wave of superstar drivers. Collect them all. Standard, Premier, 3D Elite, Victory Lane, and Throwback. Showcase your cards in your very own pit collection. Fan enrollment is free. Visit racefacedigital.com today.
Welcome back. Caden Honeycutt was also at Martinsville Speedway for both the NASCAR Truck and NASCAR Xfinity Series events, and it was not the weekend that he had hoped for. We caught up with Caden Monday morning back in North Carolina for his take on the weekend.
Hey everybody, Caden Honeycutt here. Finished up at Martinsville Speedway from this weekend of the Truck and Xfinity race for Roper Racing and for Mike Harmon. Unfortunately, just didn't have a very good weekend at all. Truck race, we got really put behind with being tight the whole time. Just could never really find our way to get it out of it. Unfortunately, we were trapped a lap down early, and we never really even got to race. We ran more than half the race under caution, so it was just unfortunate. But we'll fight for another day on that. Ended up finishing 28th, I believe, first of the lap down cars. So. And then the Xfinity race, we had a good qualifying effort, great practice, and unfortunately just had a motor grenade on us about 85 laps into the race, and had a decent run going there. I feel like we were probably ended up finishing top 25 when it was all set in stone, but fortunately just not. We'll hopefully get another crack at the Xfinity Series one day, and I appreciate Mike Harmon, Roper Racing, and everybody that worked so hard to give me the opportunity to race their race cars. And hopefully we'll be back at Kansas. We'll see. We're working really hard right now to figure that out. So thank you all to my supporters. Thank you guys for what you do, and we'll keep on pushing. And we'll go to Hickory next weekend for the car store with Mike Narn.
That's a tough couple of days, but I'm sure he will bounce back. The good news is Caden is back in the Cars Tour on Saturday at Hickory Motor Speedway with Mike Narn Racing, and he will be a contender to win that race. You can catch all of the action on flowracing.com. Jesse Love was ready for the ASA Southern Super Series Rumble by the River 125 at Montgomery Motor Speedway over the weekend, but forecasted thunderstorms postponed the event till April the 29th. Up next for Jesse, ARCA Racing Series and the High Banks of Talladega Super Speedway on Saturday, and you can tune in at 12:30 Eastern Time on FS1. Grant Thompson was also scheduled to race at Mobile International Speedway, but Mother Nature again showed up and the race was canceled. Up next for Grant, Five Flags Speedway on Friday night. Tune in to Racing America for live coverage at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll check in on Casey Klein in Arizona, Cole Denton's return to Chris Motorsports Park, and Tegan Nolan making his first start of the year at Kansas QMA. Don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss these post-race interviews. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Raceface Digital Collectible Cards. Are you a driver or a team looking to expand your brand? Want to connect with your fans, give sponsors more exposure, and earn income from all card sales? Then Raceface Digital has you covered. Digitize your brand with 5 different collectible cards. Enrollment is now open to all drivers and all series. Visit racefacedigital.com today.
Welcome back. Casey Klein was at Tucson Speedway for the Wild West Shootout Heat Seeker 127 and his number 1 Thermart Farms Super Late Model. Casey tops the charts in the first practice session, but had to start 20th for the 127-lap main event. Casey raced his way to 8th at the halfway break, then moved up as far as 5th before getting shuffled back late in the race, finishing in 12th. Up next for Casey, Wenatchee Super Oval on Saturday. Cole Denton was at Chris Motorsports Park in his number 46 Legend car, where the 2022 National Bandolero champion is still learning, but he's getting close. We caught up with Cole right after the race.
Hey race fans, it's Cole Denton. Today was still a learning day for me in one of my first races in the Legend car, and I qualified second. The car was slick because we actually had a leak on the blowback system. So I had antifreeze all on my tires for qualifying, but still did good. Was second fastest. Had a great car all day, and in the race I was all over first. I almost won. I passed them, and some lap cars got in the way, and we had to split them, and that's the only reason they got back by me. But I almost got my first win in the Legend car. So I got second, which is my first top 5 in the Legend car. So I'm super excited. I want to thank my mom and dad, Bacon Racing, Podium Motorsports, my grandparents, Race Face Brandon Element, and the Friends of Jacqueline Foundation. Most importantly, God. Bye, everyone.
Gotta love his enthusiasm. Up next for Cole, back to Chris Motorsports Park this Saturday. Tegan Nolan was making his first start of the year at Topeka, Kansas QMA. Tegan was racing in 3 different classes, so let's check in with the driver for his take on the weekend.
Hi race fans, Tegan Nolan here with a post-race recap. Today we ran our first ever senior class races. It started out with a victory in the Light 160 race. It was a pretty good race and we came home with the checkered flag. Next we ran in the senior Honda class where we were staying up high in the pack most of the race, but then got passed and came home with a 3rd place victory. Then in the senior animal class we took 3rd. We had engine problems throughout the whole day and we came up with the 3rd. I want to give thanks to Royal Signs for new wraps on the cars and on our trailer. Videos coming out tomorrow if you want to see them. And I also want to give thanks to some more sponsors. I want to give thanks to the Friends of Jacqueline Foundation, Qdoba, DC Lawn Care, which by the way, thanks for coming out to the races today. And I will also give thanks to Thrivent. So that's your post-race recap for you, everybody. See you next time.
Up next for the young 9-year-old driver back to Topeka on April 30th. Check out this promo video for Raceface Digital.
Hey race fans, Tegan Nolan here, core midget driver of the NASCAR Youth Series. Digital collectible cards are the future, and Raceface Digital is collector's top choice. With free fan enrollment, you can begin buying, selling, and trading your digital cards, representing the next generation of superstar drivers. Did I mention the card of the month? It's for the fans, it's monthly, and it's free. So what are you waiting for? Start your collection at racefacedigital.com.
Not bad for a 9-year-old. Other drivers seeing action this weekend include Jacob Clayton will be at Talladega Superspeedway for the NASCAR Youth Series national event on April 20th through April 23rd. Landon Cox will also be competing at Talladega this weekend in the NASCAR Youth Series. Well, that's it for this week's Raceface Driver Updates. And remember, if you've missed any of our shows, you can get caught up at raceface.tv on demand and racingamerica.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Make sure to check out Raceface Digital and start collecting cards for your favorite drivers. And remember, Raceface Digital is open to all drivers and fan enrollment is always free. As always, we encourage you to support local racing in your communities. So go out there, have a great race week. I'm Rod Wortham. Thanks for watching.